Mhm.
There's a theory going around on Twitter
Yeah.
that Corium is the true blockchain, elected, anointed, whatever word you want to use, by
Yeah.
the elite. And it's the secret one that they don't want people to know about. And XRP
Right.
is just the distraction, if you will. And but
Yeah.
really, Corium is the really prized
Um.
blockchain that will power everything. Your thoughts to that?
Right.
This is going to go down as one of the greatest deceptions in all of finance and all of fintech ever, ever, ever. Yes, I do ultimately believe that the ace up Ripple sleeve is that they have Corium waiting on the sidelines to be released as the CBDC platform for all central bank digital currencies. So I think this is hidden in plain sight because how they actually went about giving people the native asset of the Corium blockchain core is quite interesting because they're actually fully in compliance with ISO 222 requirements. Why? Because there was no ICO for this coin. They airdropped it to all holders of XRP and Solo. So therefore, since they did the airdrop for Core that way, there was no sketchy funding rounds, there was no weird investments. But how genius would it be for the core infrastructure of the financial system to already be fully in compliance with ISO 222? They don't need to go through any SEC lawsuit, none of that. They're already fully in compliance because they airdropped the token to everybody. There was no funding rounds. There was no ICO. So I think you really need to pay attention to that specifically. So I think with the central bank digital currencies, XRPL has room for improvement. It can certainly be upgraded, and I know they are planning on upgrading it. We have the automated market maker, XLS 30D, and a lot of other improvements that are going to be coming to the chain, federated side chains. There's a lot of things coming to the XRPL. I'm not putting the XRPL down. I'm a humongous fan of the ecosystem and I want it to flourish. With all of the meetings with the IMF, the World Economic Forum, with Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple was all about making sure they were buying time for the development of Corium and using XRP as the distraction. Not saying XRP is not going to be an expensive asset. I do believe it's going to have significance in the new financial system without a doubt. But is it going to be the most expensive asset? That's the game that we're playing. That's what we're
Correct.
trying to figure out. That's what the viewers are trying to figure out. Go ahead.
It's a possibility that the case might get extended for another 2 years, or it can go to the Supreme Court. That means you have to play that devil's advocate to know that while we know it's the best case that Ripple wins the case and XRP is declared a cryptocurrency, then fine and good, it's good for everyone. But what if it doesn't? What is your fallback? What is your plan B? Don't you think Ripple has a plan B? That is the
Mm.
64,000 or $64 billion question.
Yeah.
So
Good
Ripple
point.
might be using Corium themselves.
Yeah. I mean, whenever Ripple says they have a partnership with central banks to create CBDC, I mean, to host CBDCs, they never say XRPL. You ever wonder that, right? They always say private ledger or Ripple has partnered with this Bhutan to create a CBDC. So Ripple could be many things. It's not just the XRPL, and I think that's what is not people are not the XRPL guys are not understanding. Right? Ripple is a software company. They have invested into many technologies, and we just don't know about it yet. The news will come out when they're ready, right? And it'll be by then. By the time they release it, it'll be too late. That's my honest.
It'll 100% be too late, and they're putting it in plain sight. They put on their website on Ripple.com.
And
Central bank. Go ahead.
they're very cunning, James, with like the words. It talks about both the federated side chains and CBDCs. But if you look into the article, what was actually explained there is a private version of the XRPL. But when you say private version, it could be actually a different blockchain because they were working on a smart contract solution in blockchain, which people don't understand. I've seen it in central bank papers myself, and Saucy also has seen it. If you underline some of these and look at the projects that they were working on since 2017 with the Bank of England, it was very clear in their very words that they're using the interledger protocol. There was no mention of XRPL. In fact, they even called it Ripple's Enterprise Solutions. What is Corium? It is enterprise grade. I read it, even the fine print, it showed enterprise solution.
XRP and XLM will be neutral currencies between all blockchains and, in real life use cases as well. So, that's why they mention it, because it will be used for payments and for cross-border payments. But that doesn't and another thing too, banks, I think whenever, I think they talk about if trillions were moving through the XRPL, it will be very expensive. Right now, we do see banks moving billions through the XRPL using ODL, right? But the price is still 35 cents per coin, right? Why is it that the case, right? It doesn't matter if trillions or multi-billions go through the XRP ledger. The price of the native token represents the value of the blockchain. So if XRP is 35 cents, it shows that the XRPL is only worth 35 cents. That's end of. Doesn't matter if banks only need to hold XRP for 3 seconds to make a transaction between two entities, right? They don't need to hold hundreds of millions of XRP in reserves, right? They just need to hold for 3 seconds, and then once they're done using the XRP, it's done, it's gone, right? It's just a way of transferring value. It's not meant to be held like gold.
You're not transferring assets. So that's the difference with the interledger protocol and the distributed ledgers. So when you talk about the distributed ledgers in interledger protocol and IBC, like internet blockchains, that's what people don't understand. What Corium does is you're able to transfer your assets from one person to another between blockchains. But XRPL is basically a distributed ledger technology. It's easy to store the currencies there, but are you able to transfer your assets just by XRPL alone? Yes, between assets within XRPL. But if it's from another blockchain to the XRPL, you would need that central infrastructure. So I'm repeating this to the audience so that they don't get hurt.
What you're saying is Corium has secret partnerships, but at the moment, due to non-disclosure agreements, they can't disclose it, and that includes big banks, large institutions, same as Ripple, is what you're saying.
I mean, there's another thing, don't want to interrupt you there. Ripple is a software company, right? So their intention is to acquire essentially businesses and invest in technologies that will make them money, right? And so that's what they'll do. Maybe in the future they might become a bank or something, but right now they're a software company and they will invest in technologies that will make them more money or make their existing software such as the XRPL better, right? Or work more efficiently. So that's what Ripple is not one thing, there are many things, and they just haven't announced it yet because of this SEC case. I feel like it.
You should maybe put a few dollars in Corium and get a few of the core tokens. I believe we could probably see this asset trading between $1,000 to $2,000 by 2024. That's what they did, and people are going to find out the hard way, and it's gonna suck. I believe if you're acquiring core under $100, you're practically getting it for free. I really do believe that, and I know the use case of this blockchain specifically, because it uses WebAssembly engine, is essentially limitless. Like Saucy was saying, it could process on their side chains trillions of transactions per second. And the World Economic Forum talks about blockchain cities, because I said I believe Ripple will lose the lawsuit and XRP will temporarily be deemed a security. Later on, will probably be ruled to have some sort of a role by a higher court. Probably the Supreme Court steps in and makes a change under Donald Trump's administration, potentially to allow XRP to have a different role. But I think Corium is going to go first, and that's what no one is expecting in this entire crypto sphere, especially the XRP community.
It was a layer 1 blockchain that has ability to do smart contracts. It's working on COSM-WASM Tendermint technology, and it actually can do 7,000 transactions per second. Later on, we realized that Corium, just not looking at the price, just the technology of Corium, it was actually meant to do many use cases on smart contracts. So the use cases for the world and the business community includes, tokenization of capital markets, like what I said, through Sologenic platform ETFs, stock markets, derivatives, commodities. The second part is also CBDCs, which there are certain things that XRP is meant to do, which is to allow banks to inject liquidity into the blockchain and retail. However, they need the interoperability component, which cannot be done through the XRPL alone. That's why we have Corium, which is basically the core infrastructure that they were building all along.